Nope, we're in the weekly Dvar Malchus shir this week. We're the week of the portion of Boy, and in the Dvar Malchus itself, we're on depending on what volume, what volume you have of Dvar Malchus. In the original Dvar Malchus, it's on page 325. If you're using the Dvar Malchus with the nekudos, with the punctuation, so it's on page 351. That's the newer edition. And in the PDF file, we're on page 9. Page 9. Like we said, the portion of boy, it's one of the most colossal instructions from the Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu is told by Hashem, boy el Pare, come to Pare, and all the commentaries ask, wait a second, that doesn't sound grammatically correct. When Hashem is commanding Moshe to go to Paro, he should say, seemingly, go to Paro, not come to Paro. We already learned it earlier in the Dvar Malchus on the portion of Bay, and not long ago. And we understand that what Hashem is saying to Moshe Rabbeinu is that when Hashem sends Moshe Rabbeinu to Parai, he's not sending him alone. Wherever Hashem sends Moshe Rabbeinu, so Hashem goes with him, with Moshe. And this is the same, not only in regard to Moshe Rabbeinu, but it's the same with each and every one of us. Wherever we go, whatever mission, whatever shlichus we are on, when we go, and Hashem is sending us on every single mission that we go and every venture that we go on, so we're not going alone. We have the Eibishter, we have Hashem that is going with us, and therefore we have the security, and we have the bitochon, we have the trust that everything is going to be okay, and we don't have to have any fear from external factors that might come to try to interrupt in our shlichus. And this is a main factor for this week in the Dvar Malchus itself. And in our parsha, where we are in Dvar Malchus, we're in Parshas Truma. Parshas Truma, and we're talking about the different contributions that were given by were commanded to the Jewish nation to bring for the Mishkan, for the tabernacle, the gold, the silver, and the copper. We were speaking at depth. The Rebbe expounds on the fact that why is it that gold comes first? It was much more common for the Jewish nation to have, and not only in regard to the Jewish nation, but in general, it's more common in the world to find silver and copper. So seemingly silver and copper should have came first, and gold only last, going from the easiest and most common to the most valuable and dear. Hashem said, the Rebbe explains that this is due to the fact that the dearness is expressed in the Jewish nation ourselves. We are at the level of gold, and therefore the Torah comes and tells us that that gold is the first contribution that has to be given. And the Rebbe goes into the Rashi Tevis, the Rashi Tevis of Zahav Zehanesen Bori. The person, the individual that gives tzedakah maintains one's health. This is the way we maintain our stature and our health and our goodness and kindness in this world. The Rebbe goes on in Ois Yud. That's where we're holding at the moment. Ois Yud, the Rebbe says as follows: Inyan ze nimtza b'adgoshe yasera b'kvius reish chedush oda b'shana zu b'yomim gimel v'dalet. This whole concept that we were learning till now, we find is greater stressed in regard to the Rosh Chodesh of the month of Adar this year, because this year is then Tafshin Nun Beis 1992, and that year Rosh Chodesh Adar was on the Gimel and Dalet, Tuesday and Wednesday. Isa Gemara Bagamora, it's found in the Gemara, Gimel Dalis, Gmel Dalim. What are the letters Gimel and Dalis, the third and the fourth letter of the Hebrew alphabet? It represents Gmel Dalim, to do to do acts of goodness with those that are poor. In other words, that even when we find them in the situation of dalim, those that are in a state of poverty, there is a reward and an influence that is drawn down from above. God. Through this, we find that there is the connection between the letters Gimel and Daled, which makes up the Hebrew word God. Sheperushay hu mazel. What is the word God mean? God means, the word God is mazel in Hebrew. In Hebrew, it is fortune. Bori mazle. And therefore we see that this is the time where the fortune of the Jewish nation is strong, is healthy. Ad le'oifen dezav, to the extent that it is on the level of gold, of zav. Zehanesen bori, the individual that sees to it that when we give initially without being asked, and we don't wait for any problem to arouse us to give tzedakah. How much more so if the problem already came and the person is in their, God forbid, in their sick bed, and they're not even able to give tzedakah on their own. They have to ask someone else to give tzedakah on their behalf. That's the level of nechoshes. Yeah? Nesinas choyle she'omer tenu. That's when a person isn't able to go and to give on their own, they ask someone else to give on their behalf. And the higher level is kesef. Kisheyesh sakanas pachad. When there is a danger of fear that is lurking in the future, a person wakes up and says, "Wow, if this is going to happen, it's going to be the end." So they wake up and they do tshuva, they give charity, but without any external facet to wake us up. The person on their own goes and gives tzedakah. This is zahav. This is zehanesan bari. The person that gives the charity is maintaining their status of health and joy and happiness. We must say that also the concept of doing kindness with those that are poverty stricken. This is showing this exhibits the virtue of the children of Israel, which came about through the giving of the Torah at Har Sinai. But to preface, the Rebbe says, when we go into the details of the expression Gmoil Dalim, give kindness to the poor. Dafka v'lei Gmoil Roshim, and it doesn't say Gmoil Roshim, which is also Rosh. Rosh is a person. Is a word in Hebrew that represents a person that is poor, but it doesn't say Roshim, it says Dalim. And the Rebbe goes into the explanation. What's the difference? The Lichura, at first glance, Roshim zkukim le gmul yeser medalim. A Rosh is a person that is totally, not only in poverty, but a person that has totally collapsed in their life. A dal is a person that is getting along, but they need help. So they're poor, so we can come and help them. But the Rash seems to be on a higher level of need than the dal. So why does the Torah use the word gmoil dalim, do kindness with the poor, and not rashim, those that have totally fallen? As we know that even though the letters Dalid and the letter Resh both are connected to the concept of Dalus v'Anius, they're both connected to the concept of poverty and poorness. Harei Reish Vilarash Ein Kel. We see that with the letter Reish, and as it states, the Rash, Vilarash Ein Kel, a Rash, a person that is poor on the level of a Rash, has nothing. Hu inyan de dale dalus, lamata medalus. This is the poor of the poor, the Rebbe says. It is even lower than being poor. Like we said before, it's a person that has totally fallen from their status of functioning properly because of the fact that they don't have what to live off. And we must say the explanation in this is Hachiluk ben Dalas v'Reish. The difference between the letter Dalet and the letter Reish is Merumas gam b'tzura sa'es, is hinted to also in the shape of the letter itself. Tzura sa'es Dalas deima letzura sa'es Reish. The shape of the letter Dalet is similar to the shape of the letter Reish. Regel yemini v'gag lemaila. There is a right hand foot, right? They both have a line going down, which is similar, which is compared to a foot of the letter. Then vigag lemaila, and a roof above. The line that is from above is similar to a roof, and that's why it's called the line above is called the roof above. Aval. So this is their similarity between the Reish and the Dalet. They both have these two factors. As we mentioned before. But where does the change? Where do they differentiate between each other? Aval be'sofes ha'iketz nikuda. But when there is the addition of a uketz is like a thorn, it's called, or a dat. Me'acharei hagag, and in back of the roof. The roof, as we said before, is the upper line, the line from above of the letter Dalet. When in the back of the roof there is added the uketz, the thorn, or the dat. What does the dot express? It expresses self-nullification because it's not an entire letter, it's just a dot. This is that which connects the recipient, Malchus, the Leisle Migrama, Malchus, the sphere of Malchus, which has nothing of its own. Ein la me'atzma klum. It has nothing of its own totally. La mashpia, the connection between Malchus and the mashpia, and the influencer, the giver, Yesod, the sphira of Yesod, foundation. In this manner, there is the ability to have the system of giving to the poor. Why? Because we have the dot in the back, and the dot in the back is the concept of what? Of bitul, of self-nullification. And the concept of self-nullification brings about the ability to have a conjunction and a connection between one and another. This is the connection between Malchus, between the lowest sphera of kingship, and Yesod, the next sphera above, which brings down the shefa, the flow from all these sphirot from above down to the lowest level, which is Malchus. And so we have this system that we're talking about of giving to the poor. And we're talking about how this is meant to be exemplified in our daily service. The dot in back of the Dalet, in back of the roof of the Dalet, this expresses the point, the nekuda, the pintel yid, or the point of Yiddishkeit, of Judaism, that is found within each and every Jewish individual. Bechol matzav shehu, in any state that the individual might be found, at the highest level of spirituality or at the lowest level of spirituality. This point, this nekuda, is always there. It's always intact. And this is what bonds us and connects us with the gemul, with the giving, with the reward that is given to us, the hashpah, the influence that is given to us from above. And we must say that the concept of Gmoil Dalim, giving to the poor, that even when a Jew finds himself, we find ourselves at the spiritual level of Dal, of poverty, we still have the dot, the pintaliyid in back of us, like the letter Dalet has the point that and the thorn that differentiates it from the resh in back of it on the top of its roof. Nifal b'matan Torah. This whole concept, where was it activated? At the giving of the Torah, at Matan Torah. Kamaduber le'el, as we mentioned above, she'az nizbatla agzera ben elyonim v'sachtenim, that at the time of the giving of the Torah, the decree between the decree that there will not be a merge between the heavenly realms and the mundane realm was annulled. Dehaya ha uvanu b'charta, and then there was the great uvanu b'charta, that Hashem chose us as his nation. Bivnei Yisrael, he chose the children of Israel, kineshomas begufim lamata, as souls in bodies down here in the mundane world. We're not talking about choosing our souls as they are above in the heavenly realms. No, we're talking about as they are in the physical state, in a soul in a body. And from then on, from then on, the whole concept of resh, rashim, a person who has totally come to his one's downfall, never can take place, because we always have the thorn from the back, the dot of the dalet from the back of the roof, of the head, of the top of the dalet, that always maintains our status of the chosen nation, the nation that Hashem chooses to secure and to guard and to watch over from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, here in Eretz Yisrael, and from Eretz Yisrael throughout the entire universe. Kloimar, in other words, even before the giving of the Torah, there still was this concept of drawing down Hashemliness down to this mundane world. But then, before the giving of the Torah, it was in a manner, or the system was Gmeil Roshim, that the giving was to the ones that were downfallen. Shatachtenim Roshim, that the mundane creation down here in this world, who are called by the nickname Roshim, the downfallen ones, Nisharu Dover Nifrot Me'Elyonim, they remained a separate entity from the heavenly realms. Gmul, which is the heavenly flow that is existent in the heavens, that wishes and wants to come down, but it can't. It wasn't able to before the Torah was given, because of the decree that the Elyonim and the Tachtenim cannot merge. The heavenly realms and the mundane realm cannot connect. Masha'enkin b'matan Torah. This is as opposed to from the giving of the Torah and on. Nifal ha'inyan degmeil dalim. There was activated this concept, this system of gmeil dalim. that this abundance is given to the poor. And what does it mean given to the poor? The poor in the manner of the heavenly realms and the mundane realm coming and joining, merging together. Gar. This is also hinted in the word gar. Gar means to live, to dwell. And what is gar? Rashi Tevis Gmol Rashim. This is the acronym for the words Gmol, give, Rashim, the downfallen ones. This was when, the Rebbe says, before the giving of the Torah, Moshe says, Gar ger ha'isi be'eretz nechriya. I was a stranger, a dweller, a stranger, be'eretz nechriya, in an alien country, in an alien land. Hainu shahaya shamrak ger. In other words, that where he was only at the level of a ger, of a stranger. Biglal hakesher shalei lakadosh baruch hu, because of his connection with the Holy One, blessed be He. Avol hayisi be'eretz nechriya. But together with the fact that he was connected with Hashem, he was in an alien land. He was in Eretz Nachriya. This is as opposed to after the giving of the Torah. The whole concept of I was in an alien land doesn't apply anymore. That there he will have a connection with, and even as a ger, as a stranger, with the eretz, the land, miloshon rotzein, which comes from the word rotzein. Rotzein means the desire, the will, shel noichri chas v'sholem. Of whom? Of a non-Jew, God forbid, of a Gentile. There is no such thing after Matan Torah. There is no connection that can be made, no intrinsic connection that can be made between a Jew and the desire that exists by a Gentile, by a non-Jew. Kipsak din Rambam, as Maimonides brings in his book of law, Hanizker le'el, that is mentioned above, that the true desire of a Jew is to fulfill the desire of and the will of Hashem. In the quoting the words of the Rambam, he, the individual, every single one of us, has the desire to fulfill the commandments, all the commandments, and to distance oneself from all the averos, from all sins. Because there exists by us the point, the point of Judaism. This is the dot, or the point that we mentioned, which is on the top roof, on the top part of the letter Dalet, from behind, right? Bishleimus is always complete. It's always there, and it cannot be touched. It cannot be tarnished. And therefore, we always have the situation of Goimel Dalim, that Hashem is giving us our flow of abundance from above, and we are the ones that we receive it. And we can never have the rotzen of the nochri, and the desire of the non-Jew, of the Gentile, can never really, there is never a fusion between that rotzen of the non-Jew and us. Yud Aleph. Halimud, the study Mikola Amora, from everything that we mentioned above. First and foremost, the Rebbe says we should study, we should learn from this. That the Holy One, blessed be He, comes and he gives the psak din, in the Holy Torah, HaTorah HaNitzchis, the Torah which is eternal, L'chol haderes, for all generations, of the Chol HaMekaymus, in all places. Shekol echad ve'echad miYisrael shayach l'chol reish, that each and every Jew is connected, first and foremost, lezahav, to gold. Well, that's what a Jew is all about, gold. Over pashtus, and in the simple form, that each and every Jewish individual is meant to have wealth, is meant to be rich. That's what gold represents. Each and every one of us. Yeah, we shouldn't think that Hashem Chas v'Shalom left someone out, let alone that someone should not be us. No, Hashem has everyone in mind, and Hashem has given everyone the level of gold, of zahav, and everyone is supposed to be incredibly wealthy and rich. Hein beruchnius v'hen begashmius. This is, the Rebbe says, not only in spirituality, but also materially. Ashirus bepashtus mamish. Wealth in its plain, simple manner, right? The material manner. But we shouldn't forget also the spiritual manner as well. Furthermore, not only is this meant to be for the individual, but this is going in regard to every single Jewish individual, that every single Jewish individual is meant to have ashirus bepeil, is meant to have wealth, is meant to be rich in its simple form of wealth. And even if this is not found on a revealed basis, as it is in the material world, this is, the Rebbe says, that is not due to the fact that the wealth is not in existence. But the wealth is there for each and every one of us, every single Jew. And what the Rebbe says is that the Jew, us, we have to reveal this wealth through our service, through our efforts, through our work. And how much more so, through this, that we reveal this wealth from the darkness, from amongst the darkness. This brings about the incredible action of bringing that which is even greater from an even greater light from the darkness. What do we mean by this? Tesefes ribuy shel shefarav de gishmei bracha, an incredible addition and greatness of abundance, of rain of blessing. Yeah, and one only has to look out the window and we can see that we're receiving the abundance of rain of blessing. Baruch Hashem. In a manner that it is bringing about a strengthening of one's liveliness. That there becomes a flood of rain of blessing. If anyone jumped, so the Rebbe says, don't worry, it's only for the good. It's only in the manner of virtue and not a flood of rain of blessed rain otherwise. Only for the good. On a good and revealed basis. To the extent that it changes the floods that are not lemaliyusa, that are not virtuous, right, to virtuous floods, and it turns it into good and to holy floods. To the extent that this is this serves as a preparation for for the coming of Mashiach, about which it states that the land will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem, like the waters cover the ocean bed. So, Baruch Hashem, we're experiencing this right now. And how much more so in our generation? The famous quote that the Rebbe comes and says many, many times over and over, that we are the last generation in exile and the first generation in the redemption, in the Geula. And this is after we have fulfilled, we have done everything. We have completed everything, all our work, all our service. And the only thing that is needed is to greet the countenance of Moshiach in actuality. In other words, just to step up and to say Shalom Aleichem to the Rebbe. Certainly, behold, certainly the Rebbe says, the Holy One, blessed be He, blesses each and every one, individual from the Jewish nation, with wealth, with riches of gold, materially and spiritually. But to the extent that it is expressed in the following manner, as it was in the days that we exited, of our exodus from the land of Egypt, so also now, the Rebbe says, I will show you wonders, the prophet mentions. Our enum niflois. This is the Novi from the Treyasara, Micha, that says that in the future, immediately now, the Hashem is going to show us wonders in comparison to the miracles that we saw in our exodus from the land of Mitzrayim, of Egypt. That in the exodus from Mitzrayim, there was not even one Jew that didn't have 90 Libyan donkeys. When we're talking about Libyan donkeys, these are the most healthy and grand and giant of all donkeys, and they were known to be able to carry the most extensive amount of weight on their backs. And what were these 90 Libyan donkeys? What were they weighed down with? What were they carrying? They were carrying the money, the kaspa and zahava, and the gold, the silver and gold of Egypt, of Mitzrayim. Mikach yeshna miyad ha'ira. From this, we have the following instruction. Yehudi, what would be the following instruction? That everyone should go to rent out U-Hauls in order to fill up our gold and silver that we're going to receive. Now, the Rebbe says what is the instruction? The instruction is that a Jew has to make the effort. And what is the effort that the Jew has to make? To be wealthy. To be wealthy, b'feil, in actuality, b'chol ha'inyonim, in all concepts, materially, spiritually, hachel mi'ashirus beruchnius, beginning with wealth, spiritually, in the spiritual realms, ein osher ela b'das, there is none that are wealthy other than in knowledge. In other words, the main wealth is das, is knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Liyas asher b'Torah mitzvahs, to be wealthy in the study of the Torah and the observance of the commandments of the Torah. V'ad gam ashius begashmius, to the extent that this also brings about the material wealth, the material riches, in order that we will be able to fulfill the study of the Torah and the observance of the mitzvahs, in a manner of a tranquil soul and a tranquil body. Kipsak din Rambam, as Rambam actually brings in his book of law. Veyuchal, the Rambam brings this in Hilchos Tshuva. Hilchos Tshuva, the beginning of chapter 9, Reish Perek Tes. If anyone wants to know, and everyone asks us, where do you know that you're supposed to be rich from? Because the Rebbe said so? First of all, yes, because the Rebbe said so. The Rebbe says so. But actually, it's even before the Rebbe says so. The Rebbe brings it from Rambam, and it's in his book of law, which is a book of halachas. These are the laws that we are meant to abide by, and these are the laws that the Holy One, blessed be He, that Hashem has to committed Himself to abide by first and foremost. And since it says that everyone is supposed to be able to study Torah and to observe the mitzvahs in a manner of tranquility of the soul and tranquility of the body, right? So therefore, every single person is meant to be wealthy. Every person is meant to be rich. And through this, every individual will be able to go and to increase in our giving of charity, tzedakah, and our fulfillment, observance of the commandments of the Torah, behidur, in a manner of beautification, not just to fulfill our obligation, but to do it in the most beautiful of manners. You need money to do this. This is the whole point that the Rebbe is saying. We are gold. And since we are gold, we're supposed to be able to have the gold, not just to know it in hypothetically, not only in theory, but materially. Then first and foremost, the gold has to be the spiritual gold of the knowledge of the Torah. And afterwards also comes, hand in hand, the material wealth and the material riches as well. V'hider lifnei mehider, and one beautification within a beautification. In other words, there are no end to the levels of beautifications that we can add in the observance of the mitzvahs of the Torah. It only goes higher and higher, and more beautiful. Ovichlal, and in general, lenatzel es ashirus, to go and to utilize the wealth, zav v'chesef u'nucheshes v'gemer, gold, silver, and copper, etc. Kedei lasis mi beisei aproti mishkan u'mikdash laHashem, to make from our personal, private home a dwelling place and a sanctuary for Hashem. Like it states that I will dwell within them, within each and every one of the Jewish nation, in our homes, in our Chabad houses, in every single person's address. And this includes Gam al yedei nesina litzdaka livnias beis hakneses uveis hamedrash kipshutei. Also in regard to the giving of contributions of charity to build synagogues and study halls in their simple manner. Migdash me'at, the microcosm of the Beis HaMikdash that is found in each and every synagogue, Beis HaKnesses, each and every study hall, Beis HaMedrash, and each and every person's private home, the Chabad house of each and every Jew, which is there in order for us to go and to propagate the study of the Torah, the davening and prayer, and gmilos chasodim, the acts of goodness and kindness. And it should be teichef umiyad mamash, immediately now, with the revelation of the Rebbe Shlitah Melech HaMoshiach in the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi VaNitzchi, in the third and the eternal Beis HaMikdash, and this should be teichef umiyad, immediately now. Yechi Adonenu Moreinu veRabbeinu HaMelech HaMoshiach Chai v'Kayim le'olam voed.